Good day, everybody. This is Michael Levitis from JurisQ.com, where we bring you different attorneys in different practice areas to talk about legal FAQs. And our divorce attorney, our participating guru of divorces is Alla Kurolapnik. Alla, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Michael.
Alla, we know you're a big proponent of using mediation in a divorce. And today I want to talk about the length of time it takes to complete a divorce that is a regular divorce, that is a full-blown litigation, go to court and all that, whether that proceeding, that length of time could be shortened using mediators. What do you say, Alla?
So I'm going to start off by giving you a really good example. I have just been appointed as by the court in Richmond County, Supreme Court, as a mediator on a case that I'm working on. The index number of the case, which means when the case started initially, was 2019. So this divorce has been pending for 4 years.
Oh my God.
Now, I don't know what's been done. I mean, I do know what's been done behind the scenes. There have been some attempts made to mediate. There have been a number of motion practices back and forth. Now, mind you, this is a case without young children. So it's should be fairly more simple because you're dealing with less issues to resolve. But it's been pending, since 2019. So that just
think about how much legal fees were burned over the course of 4 years. How many nerves?
It's legal fees, it's mental health, it's being stuck in a situation that sees no end.
Exactly. You can't move on.
So it's a big deal. So in any event, that's just to give you some kind of a trajectory of how long a contested case can continue. Because I practice in both realms, I do litigation and I do mediation. I have kind of, I favor a lot of times the use of a mediator to deal with specific issues, right? So obviously, if I were to advise somebody, would I say, should you go litigation? Obviously not. Try to mediate, right? Because you can generally settle a case within, anywhere between 8 to 15 mediation sessions, let's say. And that's just the general, it's very fact specific and case specific and party specific and, what you're trying to accomplish, right? But generally, I would say anywhere between 8 to 15 sessions, you can easily settle a case.
Let me ask you, those sessions, usually they happen on a weekly basis, or how do you schedule them? Or
listen, I like to keep the momentum flowing, but that's my personal preference. Sometimes you have professionals that can't really commit to something, every week. So maybe it takes 2 weeks, maybe it takes 3 weeks. It also depends on what we're adjourning for. So for instance, if I've met with the parties and we've all agreed that we need to have a real estate appraiser evaluate their real properties, or a forensic accountant value the value of somebody's business, that's going to have a longer wait time because, both parties have to then work with the appraiser. The appraiser has to, let's say, see the property, write up a report. So in those cases, there could be weeks before we, or a month before we see each other again. But it's really very subjective. I can't say as to when and how these things get done.
But it seems like you said with the mediation, it does take less time because first of all, you don't depend also on the judge's schedule. Doesn't the judge also, him or herself, have their own schedule? They have other cases pending. They can put off proceedings by months and months and months and keep on adjourning. Whereas in mediation, there's no third party involved. There is a judge, right? It's between the two parties and the other professionals that are involved. So it's much more smooth, no?
Well, it can be because, judges look, you have two very, very different sides of the spectrum for judges. I've worked with some judges who don't give you enough time to prepare, who say, okay, we're going to trial tomorrow. Meanwhile, I have 2 other trials and 5 other clients. And, so then you're kind of like everything is on high, high rush time and you have to prepare. So I have judges like that, that feel that by forcing you to move forward with litigation, they'll get a better result to have the parties settle their cases. Okay.
Interesting strategy. Okay.
And so that's one side of the spectrum. Then I have other judges that really aren't in any rush, and they tell me that, look, my calendar is full. I'm not sure what you want me to do. And then when you have a real emergency situation, like for instance, what school a child is going to go to, or getting medical help, or going on a trip, or having a passport ready to go on vacation, or something else, those judges tend to say, okay, I'll see you back here in 3 weeks. Well, that's no longer an emergency then.
Of course, yeah.
Supposed to, school has to be made within the next couple of days or whatever it is, or or we have to go on vacation.
Yeah, and with mediation, you can just agree to meet. Let's meet tomorrow. We just get all this resolved. Let's put all the issues on the table,
or at least open up the channel to discuss it, so that you can come to some sort of really address the finite issue of what the emergency is, and then let's put everything else over for another day.
Bottom line, what I see here and what I hear from all of our sessions with you, you've been so educational and enlightening us on the benefits of mediation, that it really does take much less stress and time when you are using mediators in a divorce. And listen, if you want to pay attorneys for every appearance and for every hour to spend your case, be my guest. But if you want to put a pin in the process, if you want to complete the process as soon as possible, talk to Alla Kurolapnik, see whether mediation is the right way to go. And the phone number of Alla Kurolapnik is on the bottom of the screen. Please feel free to call to get a consultation. Alla, thank you so much. And this month, we're going to continue talking about the big picture vision of the end goal of a divorce, which is to move on. So now next session, I'm going to bring you back. We're going to talk about that, the big picture vision. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.